The first time I went to Samoa was for his chief ceremony. I don't know if you've ever seen one.
Yes.
But they have these huge sticks, and I was about 8, and I thought, yeah, they're going to hit my dad. And however many hits he can take, that'll determine what level of chief he is. So I sat there for hours waiting for them to start hitting my dad, and they never did it. I was pretty disappointed, eh?
They just get
He's going to get
Revenge
his
time, yeah.
You're not a very good son. You're not a good son.
Well, I don't know. This is my 8-year-old thinking. I was like, yeah, they're gonna smack him. That
Smoke
makes
my
sense.
dad, yeah.
However tough he is, that'll depend on, that'll determine how good of a chief you've got.
It probably sounds like you actually wanted him to get hit.
Yeah, maybe it was a secret desire.
Well, the first phrase I learned in Samoan was "Lua vai lima wha moli moli."
Oh, yeah, you want 2 beers.
Yeah.
Here we go. Vailima is dangerously drinkable in the island.
Isn't it?
The heat, the humidity,
So
and it's just
good.
such a clean beer in terms of taste. It's
Yeah.
not bitter.
Yeah,
You end up
it's-
having too much of it.
What the Germans left you, eh? That in an airport and some roads.
Yeah. Now the Chinese have
grateful.
given us so much more.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not allowed to talk Chinese. Sorry. The ambassador. No, welcome, gentlemen. It's great to have you all here. Joining us today, obviously, our viewers remember Billy Brown. Since you were last here, you have been accepted to be a candidate for New Zealand First. So congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well deserved, in my opinion. And a new face for the Pillar podcast, but a friend of the podcast, whether you realise or not, Dr. Wilson, is David Wilson, NZ First MP.
Right.
It's your first physical appearance, but not your first mention on our podcast, and I'll let you know why. A few months ago, Arian and I came down to make a select committee submission. It was on the telecommunications and other amendments bill, and we made a submission, and it was a pretty significant day for us. It was our first sort of submission we made together, and one that we were really passionate about, and our flight got delayed. And we ran into you at the airport, and you came up to us and you said, "Hey, gents, really great submission, well read and well presented. Keep up the good work." And for us, as a young organisation, and our first sort of foray into Parliament, making those sorts of submissions, that was actually hugely encouraging and heartening. So we haven't had a chance to say thank you in person, but thank you for that. It actually has been a pretty significant chapter for us, and it gave us a lot of confidence heading into the next 3 or 4 that we made. So
Right back at you with a thank you. You know, we really need people engaging for those kinds of bills. It's like the last thing on people's minds in a lot of cases, but sometimes it's really important. So thank you.
Oh, well, it's great to have you here. Oh, just a little bit of housekeeping. We'll try to keep the mics as close to our mouths. Just
Not too
just
close.
just so we don't lose any of that audio. I'd hate for anyone to mishear your policy promises that you're going to make here. Breaking news and
And
other
in 3
things.
years' time, you can replay them for everyone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. They told us those multi seats would be gone by now.
At Playground, he said this.
Yeah. No, it's good. Well, a little bit of background on us as Civil Liberties Organisation. There's 3 of us who've been going for nearly a year, coming up to our first birthday, and we really care about individual liberty, freedom, human rights, and democratic participation. I was able to come to your conference briefly, in the New Zealand First Conference. I shouldn't say your conference. It was your conference, but the New Zealand First Conference.
Yeah.
There's no Dr. David Wilson conference. there could be or should be maybe. And I really enjoyed it. And it was really, really interesting look at what you guys are doing and what you have been doing for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But I suppose I'll open the floor and just say, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how have the last 3 years in government been?
Oh, okay. Just before you go from the conference, one of the things I love about New Zealand First Conference is it actually is democratic. You will have seen the remit sessions and that sort of thing. They're open to the media. No other parties do that.
Not the Greens especially.
No. And then the stuff just appears. It's like, anyway.
Just on that, like that was my first one, and when I first got told about the remits and stuff, I was like, oh, here we go. It's going to be boring, but I really liked it. It was like democracy in action, eh? It was real cool. And just real democracy, because as people were reading out the remits, there was actually debate going on between sitting MPs and members of the party. And it's from all levels, top down, bottom, sides. It was awesome. That's real democracy.
Well, and the fact that you did it in public. I know some parties, well, no party completely aligns on everything, but very few parties are willing to let you see that, how the sausage is made in a sense. You know, there's a little bit of disagreement. So that is really powerful, and I think it models for everyone who is voting that you can have debate, you can have discussion.
Yes, unlike other parties that select their MP, select their leader instead of elect.
Well, wasn't
Anyway, we won't go
it,
there.
Wasn't it higher?
Yeah.
Wasn't it
Seek.co.nz. You're telling me that I can't become the next New Zealand First Leader by applying on treatment?
No.
Oh my
There
goodness.
is no actual job. You have to work your way.
Who is in charge of the party if you can be hired by SEEK? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a question we need to ask. But no, that's amazing. So you have been a member of this coalition government for the last 3 years.
Yep.
And you've been pretty active. Like I said, we saw you on a select committee. You serve in a multitude of roles. But tell us how it's been and tell us what exactly you do.
Okay, so I've got two select committees. One is called Finance and Expenditure, and the other is Economic Development, Science and Innovation.
Wow.
So I came in halfway through the term, so I've been there about a year.
Nice.
One of our previous ladies, Tanya Unkovic, got there and decided that, look, politics is not for me. And she's got her own career, and she decided to just pull back. What I'm really pleased about with the party is they didn't just say, oh, here you are. Now what we need to get done is this and this. Can you go there? They picked those two select committees to follow on with my skills
Yes.
and what I can bring to the party. I was so stoked about that. You know, it's just opened it up for me. I've got finance, I've got economic development, I've got science and innovation. They are my lanes. It's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. And so I was wrapped. And I also like the fact that that's what they do. They play to our strengths. And you'll see it's like a revolving door sometimes, even with ministries and that sort of thing. They have a shuffle around and, you'll take on health. Okay. What experience do you have in health? Education, you know, I went to school.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff. You know, we've just got to have expertise in the right places. So I was wrapped with the way they did that. I hit the ground running. I had to. I had no chance. And finance and expenditure, that can get quite complex really fast. And that was one of the things I learned right off the bat, because I'm not a lawyer. Right? And you'll get a bill and it's got so many different clauses and so many different parts, as you guys will have seen when you were submitting to one of the laws, and that was a smaller one.
Yeah, totally.
There's so many things to get across and fast. And so you've got to actually be on your game. And you know how legalese is, right? When you look at a law or a bill, sometimes you're thinking, what did that say?
Yeah.
I just need to reread that.
Yeah.
And so you can start by asking some dumb questions. But there's really good support there from the officials, the Parliamentary Council Office, as they call it, and the Law Office. They're just so good. And you don't have to be afraid to do that, because that's what you're there for. You know, peel the layers off and get to the kernel about what's actually going on here with this bill and what it's trying to achieve, who's behind it. And the other democratic part, you know, getting the submissions in, like yourselves, and listening to all the submissions. And sometimes you'll get a run of submissions which seem convincing, but they're all saying the same thing, and they're all singing off the same song sheet.
Yeah, right.
So that is one particular point of view. So you need a bit of judgment about looking at all sides to the story and actually peeling those layers back and getting to the kernel of what's actually going on with this bill and how it fits with other stuff. It's not just about this thing
There's
in
one
isolation.
single bill. Yeah.
Exactly. Even your one is the same, right? There was lots of other things that were going on at the same time with that whole area of telecommunications.
Can I ask how you found, because you said you've only been in there for about a year and a half. How did you find that transition from the private sector into obviously this specific role? And I ask because we've seen a lot of commentary, particularly when someone like Paul Henry put up his name to run, and people said, we don't think you'll be able to run this because the administrative tasks that you have to do as an MP, the drudge and the consistent work that you have to, the administrative stuff, is boring. What's been your reflection on that?
That's definitely the game.
Yeah.
You know, you're there to change the law, which affects everybody. So you have to actually understand what you're doing. You have to understand everything about what's going on. So it seems like from the outside, becoming a minister will be the greatest thing.
Exciting,
since sliced
sexy
bread.
work. Yeah.
But often I think you find that the ministers that are very, very good, and I'll use Shane for an example, Shane Jones, he's been through select committees, 6 years of them,
Wow.
right? That's the grounding.
Yeah, right.
That's where the grunt work happens.
Yes.
Doesn't happen in the theatre
No.
that you see on the telly.
That's right.
Right? It's the select committees where laws get really kicked around and they come back to Parliament, and then you see the debates and so on and so forth. So people fancy themselves as, I can take those guys on. in a
change the
debate
world.
any
Yeah, yeah,
day,
yeah,
You know, I'm pretty, I'm very articulate. I can do this. I question it if you haven't got the grounding first. So that was why I really appreciated what the team did for me. Put me right in the middle of the stuff that was in my lane. But also, well, this is your grounding, guy. You may look old. You may have done a few things, but I'm sorry. Stay
amazing.
here.
Like an apprenticeship.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know how
Yeah,
you.
up to you, Billy. You'll be next in line
Billy's
for
making a change
apprenticeship.
next. I don't know how you feel. I sit in some select committees that we're presenting to, and we like to get there a bit early just to hear what other people are saying, and
Good thing to do.
and it makes me grateful for democracy, but it also makes me think, man, a great dictator would really smoothen this out a little bit sometimes. So some of these submissions are just off. The last one we did, the submitter before us presented for 5 minutes, and it was a poem, and then they said at the end, no questions. And I thought, how beautiful is it that we live in a country where even they have a voice?
Yeah.
Even though I disagree with them. I disagree with everything they said. I disagree with the way they presented.
Yeah.
I disagree with the end point and their goals. But I thought, you know what? If they don't have a voice, it's not long before I don't have a voice.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you've listened to so many submissions where you're
Absolutely.
thinking, I've got a pile of paper on my desk right now that needs tending to. I've got all these other things to do. But because of the way our system works, and some people might have problems with it, everybody has a voice.
Yeah.
So-
It's an example of that the other day. There's a guy that turns up to a lot of select committees and sort of says similar things. And he's really concerned about stuff in the public interest
Yeah.
and democracy and so on and so forth. And sometimes he's dismissed because of those things. And it seems somewhat simplistic. The other day we were talking about the free trade agreement with India, and he turned up and he spoke. And at the end, when we went into private session, I can't tell you what we said there, but essentially what that guy had said came up.
Yeah, wow.
You know, it's
Incredible.
like,
That's
oh,
awesome.
actually, yes, he's
Interesting.
right. He's pulled us up on something.
And he wouldn't have known that.
No,
You don't realize the impact you
Yeah.
have necessarily.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
So as someone who's going from the private sector to the public sector, does this make you excited, or are you
Oh,
like
it does. It does make me
Yeah.
excited. That's the whole point of
starting to
getting into it.
backpedal?
Yeah.
It's really
So
excited.
much paperwork. Yeah.
Yeah, heaps of paperwork, no building infrastructure, and a pay cut.
Do you know what's funny?
How good.
Do you know what's
But
funny?
that's the whole
So
point.
true.
What people don't realise is like I'm getting into politics not to build a career. I've already got a career. If I wanted to continue to build my career, I could have brought into a small medium enterprise.
That's right.
And built my own personal wealth. For me, this is actually fundamentally, be honest with everyone, I'm doing this for my grandson, for my local. I want to actually, I do believe it is time now for us to take back our country in multiple areas from an economic point of view, but also from a cultural point of view. So hearing the ground game, that just reminds me of when I left school at 13 and building my apprentice game in the construction industry. So yes, there'll be a lot of mahi to be done, but you get joy when you do stuff well. You know what I mean? And we have to. And we have to, you have to get the experience. I'm not a politician. I keep telling everyone I'm not a politician. I'm just a construction worker. I'm just an everyday blue collar Kiwi. But I want to make a fundamental change in our democracy. And how good is our democracy when a guy just decided in February that he wanted to get into parliament, and then all of a sudden he gets the approval from a party, a great party, to actually run. And that was pretty cool.
It's funny to me, and Arian sort of touched on it, this idea that people moving from private to public, they're not ready for the workload.
Yeah.
Private sector, if you don't work hard, you don't make money.
Oh, you're out.
There's no constant stream of income through taxation coming through. So if you fail to provide a valuable resource or service or something that people want to pay for, you're not going to become wealthy.
No.
Yeah,
So
this
it's-
is why I was attracted to Billy right off
Yeah.
the bat, because there are a lot of professional politicians in Parliament who have actually never done anything outside of being at university,
Yeah.
learning some ideological ideas about how the world should be run, and then they're politicians. You know, Billy's got experience.
That's right.
He's done the mahi. I decided early on in my life that I would go for jobs and careers that I thought were meaningful rather than go for the money. A few of my mates are quite wealthy and they went for the money and now they're reflecting. That's good. That's really good. But I totally agree with Billy, which is why we were attracted to each other right off the bat. You know, I came from private sector background as well. And I know that, you know, it's hard. You've got to do the mahi, like you say. And I had a consultancy. If you weren't hustling, you didn't get the consultancy.
People don't come to you for fun. You know? They only come if you add value. I was
That's
talking to a consultant about this yesterday, and the amount of people who approach him to work with him or for him or buy part of his business. And he's like, this is not a game. If I'm not offering value to these high value people,
Crazy, yeah.
they won't call me. They won't invite me in to give advice.
Yeah.
So, no, you
No, I was just gonna, and what you're describing, I think, specifically when you say like, there's people, maybe even like yourself, who take a pay cut to go into public service. That adds real meaning to public service and being a public servant. Whereas the others you describe who go university and then go straight into this, and it's like, oh wow, that's a nice paycheck. I wouldn't have been able to do this in the private sector because I can't provide much value.
Never had to worry about how they're going to pay the wages next Thursday.
No.
exactly.
And then all the taxpayer money that comes in, you don't realize
Yeah.
how much work has gone into that you're now
Absolutely.
spending.
On their behalf, supposedly.
If being a public servant is the highest paying role you could ever have, then I think you have to really seriously reflect on.
You have to do some reflecting.
Yeah,
But it leads into a lot of things. Like when I look at things too, and you look at the opposition leader when he has a holiday home.
yeah,
You know, like I've been in this industry for 29 years and probably over a long period of time earn more money than he has over that lifetime. But somehow he's been able to clock the game and get a holiday home. I don't have a holiday home. So we have to start asking these questions, like why are these people career politicians and why are they pushing and pulling? But to go back to like being nominated for New Zealand First, and the reason why I picked New Zealand First, because I am a blue collar Kiwi, even though I'm wearing a beautiful jacket today.
Well, last time you said as well, you were a lifetime Labor voter.
I was a lifetime
You
Labor
saw
voter,
us
and that's the thing. I'm from Kaipui, which is North Canterbury. It was a freezing works town. It had a wool mill there as well. Dad worked in the freezing works. I voted Labor. Dad voted Labor. I'm pretty sure Pop, he voted Labor as well because it was the blue collar party. Then when I looked at this at February, because I had a hard look, it was probably January. I started looking at parties because I only joined New Zealand First in January as well. Was what values to fit me, and from a blue collar point of view, and moral point of view, and a value point of view, it had to be New Zealand First because they still back the blue collar Kiwi. When we look at free trade deals or all this neoliberal stuff going on, it doesn't back the blue collar Kiwi. When we're signing up to a free trade deal that sells our IP to India around kiwi fruit, apples, and Manuka honey, that's jobs we lose here because over a period of time we have to train them up. That lose blue collar Kiwi jobs. That's not valuing New Zealanders. You know what I mean?
We were talking about this yesterday. We usually record our podcast on a Friday with just our team, and we were talking about how New Zealand First really seems to have struck a chord with the common Kiwi, where National has missed the mark, Labour's definitely missed the mark, even the Greens have missed the mark. You know, people who should be grassroots. You know, New Zealand First has really found a strong contingent and have nailed the what it feels like to be an everyday Kiwi. Yeah. To, you know, do your 9 to 5 and try and support your family, and you're just wanting a better future for your kids. They seem to be the only party touching on that with any real conviction. Is that something that's happened intentionally and consciously within discussions, or how have you guys managed to do that?
Oh, yes. Right on the number. Let's take tax, right? The taxes that you've got coming at you from the left, and I include Top in there as well with land tax.
I thought they were centrist.
According to them, yeah. Good positioning. I reckon she's got, I think Kule's got the same creative agency that Jacinda had. Anyway,
Probably.
you know, it's like it all seems really lovely until you start reading.
Yeah.
So true.
Anyway, look, all of those taxes are taxes on your income and or your land or your assets or anything else. So they're all redistributive taxes. They take money from this group and they give it to that group.
Yeah.
Quite often it's
The unproductive.
that group is the group that votes for them, right? But, you know, so you're shifting money around to try and make society better. New Zealand First thinks, well, if you really want a better health sector, better education, the ability to allow people to take parental leave, all those sorts of things, you need to grow the economy because just shifting money from one part of the whole society into another doesn't do anything for the growth of the economy, not a thing.
Yeah.
And then there's also this kind of attraction that we've had, and I hate to say this, but from the right and the left with the major parties, to build wealth before we go into an election, we increase immigration.
Yeah.
Why do we increase immigration? And we've got evidence here, and it was large sums of immigration, 130,000 one year.
Yeah.
It's like crazy numbers.
Crazy.
Why do they do that? Because more people want houses when they arrive with immigration. The price of your house goes up and you feel wealthier, so you spend more money. What's that doing for the long-term structure of our economy? How are we actually earning more wealth this way?
Destroying it.
That's crazy.
if New
And that's
Zealand-
why
Yeah, yeah.
we love
And that's what attracted me to New Zealand first too. That
it's like
whole
build it.
whole mindset of we're going to create conditions through policies of getting more productive, and that's what breaking up the power companies do, because it stops the squeeze on Kiwi families, but also stops the squeeze on small medium enterprises and manufacturing too. We've seen that in Hawke's Bay where businesses are closing, but also breaking up the supermarkets too, when you get the farmers who can get more money, and with breaking up the power companies too, there's actually a section in there, I'm pretty sure, David, around power generation and incentivising that.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer. I love this one. Is because for us to be more prosperous, to us to be more productive, is getting cheaper baseline power. We need that.
Absolutely.
And that leans into what Dave was saying is, instead of just tax, just create a condition where we can be more prosperous. Like one of the policies of the Greens, anything over 160,000 will be taxed at 45% every single dollar. I know supervisors who work for me, who work 12, 14-hour days, work 6 days a week, and they're going to get taxed. They physically work for that money. They're
disincentive.
blue collar workers. And then the $20 transport cap that Labor's brought in, that doesn't help their cost of living because they're starting before the public transport starts, or they work in a rural area where they're building the wind farms, the solar farms, or the hydro, or the roading networks. New Zealand First has got policies that create real conditions that help the blue collar Kiwi, the everyday Kiwi.
Well, and that's the big takeaway that I took from our last conversation was, are we cultivating an environment within our country that incentivizes productivity, innovation, risk, or are we trying to invest elsewhere, bringing people in where they're going to send, like I think Canada and the UK have between 18 to $20 billion leave their shores each year through migrant workers who work in the country but send it back home to India. So India's got two or three economies feeding into their economy, and they're actually making huge moves within India. I was in India 2 years ago, and I was able to see some of this happen. But what are we betting on? Are we betting on migrant workers? Are we betting on more taxation? Or are we betting on Kiwi ingenuity and innovation?
Yeah.
I think New Zealand has all the tools at its disposal in terms of natural resource, but also the brain power and the people power to be a world leader in a number of industries, whether that be energy or tech or space exploration. But are we incentivizing people to do that here?
Yeah.
The answer is no. We need to, and that's why I really enjoyed what you guys are bringing forward.
The answer's no now, but if you party vote New Zealand First and you give us over 20%, it will be a yes.
Well, I just want to
So
check.
it's up to you.
I just want to check. You mentioned maternity leave. So New Zealand First is in favour of maternity leave.
Yeah, absolutely. And my wife said to me
worried
just the
for a
other
bit.
day, she said, you realise that when we had our kids, we didn't get maternity leave.
Wow.
So it's like there's this acceptance, isn't there, of entitlement.
Yeah.
And then we need more.
Yeah.
Well, we need to build wealth.
So where do you get it from?
You know, it's like this is crazy thinking, and we've done that. Like my father's generation, and probably your grandfather's generation built Manapori,
Yeah.
right? 1964 through to 1971, the largest power station in the country, and still is 60 years later. Right, it's powering Tiwai Point. Other hydro stations followed on. They built this country. Why on earth would we give that away? This is nuts. And that's the kind of difference between us and a lot of the other parties. So 1984, if you really want to look at history, there was a briefing to the incoming government, which was the Labor government, by Treasury. you could look at that briefing and say, well, that's directly out of the Chicago School of Economics. Milton Friedman, Hayek, the whole damn thing. It was neoliberal to the nth degree from our treasury to the incoming government. So they took it on lock, stock and barrel because we just come out of a whole era of protectionism. We've had that thinking from the left and the right, including National. We fast forward to the 90s, euthanasia, you know, the attacks on people on benefits and all that kind of stuff, cutting everything back, selling off our banks, selling off the railway lines, selling just about everything off because of this belief that the market will deliver social outcomes. Oh, I'm sorry. The market left to itself tends towards monopoly and oligopoly, which is now what we've got. A duopoly in the supermarkets, as Billy said, got an oligopoly in our banks. The Bank of New Zealand is like the Bank of the National Australia Bank. ASB Bank used to be called Auckland Savings Bank.
Oh, was it?
It's now, it's now Australia Bank, Commonwealth Bank. The list goes on. So we don't have ownership of our own banking system. Seriously? If we don't have ownership of our own banking system, who has it? Well, I'm sorry, but the people investing in those banks in Australia do. If you look at, just let me give you an example of what this means. Norway, 5 million people. They took all of their the benefits from oil and put it into a company called Statoil. You probably heard this story before. State-owned company, Statoil. That's what the stat bit means. They put it into what they call a sovereign wealth fund. That sovereign wealth fund currently is $2.2 billion US. That's 2.2 trillion dollars. That's $3.6 trillion New Zealand. There's 5 million people in Norway.
Don't they?
There's 5 million people in New Zealand.
Yeah.
That was a different path they took. They could see that you can be open to the market and you can do things generally, but you also need to look after your own citizens and our own wealth and our own resources for the benefit of our own citizens.
Yeah.
We've lost that in that kind of intervening period for the last, from 84 to now.
Where would you draw the line? Because I really appreciate this. Where would you draw the line between, all right, we have the free market, and we believe in the free market because it works, broadly speaking. And then if we do leave it to its own devices, it leads to monopolistic behavior. Because you want to be careful where the state intervenes, right?
Correct.
So in your conceptualization, where would you draw the line?
I'll give you a simple example, and I'll use power because we've been talking about it. So the Greens have just come out with their version of what they're going to do, and it's called Kiwi Power. No detail.
Good
Basically,
name. Good name.
Great
though.
name.
Surprise. Yeah.
the state will own everything. Right?
Yes.
That's their approach. We're economic nationalists, which means we believe in building our own wealth here. And there are some things that are better owned by the public. Power is one of them. But right now, the gentailers, there's 4 of them. 3 of them are owned 51% by the public sector, and then the other 49% is owned by the market. The 4th one is fully privately owned. So gentailers are generators and retailers. They sell to themselves and call that a market. So it's it's not a market. So even in a neoliberal point of view, that's not really a free market.
No. And it's not working. That's right. Yeah.
So if you look at that structure, each of those ones that own retail as well as generation, about half of their income comes from the retail side.
Well,
And in the last 20 years, it's just ramped up recently that they're starting to invest in renewable energy and the like. But in the previous 20 years, no. There was a lot of money made by them.
There was no incentive for them to.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
the directors get paid very, very well.
Yes, they do.
Our view of this, which, separates us from the Greens is, well, actually the retail side can be left to the market. But I tell you what, we're going to own the generation because we own the resource.
Yes.
And we're going to own the infrastructure, which takes the energy through Transpower and distributes it around the country. And then through lines companies, which are usually just trusts, which are owned by us. And that brings it to your home. And you buy your energy from a retailer. Well, if we sell off the retail side of the gentailers and concentrate on generation, we own the resource, we own the generation, we own the distribution, we have control of the wholesale price. Then you leave the market to do the retail side of it. So we could take the sale of those retailers and reinvest into energy production and distribution and start understanding some of the finer things like what they call distributed generation, which is like you make power at home through solar or that sort of thing. We need to be able to pay you for that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's called distributed.
Like a
So it's
more
not centralised.
national resilience, national security approach.
Correct.
Rather than a government owns everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. And then
That's the lens you,
and from the Greens' point of view, own the means of production right through and everything.
up to your child as well.
I'm not sure where that's worked anywhere.
They just haven't tried it properly.
That's right.
I'm
Need to get it right this time round.
They'll get it right.
They'll get it right.
Yeah.
China didn't work, Cuba didn't work, Russia didn't work.
Madam Close
Yeah,
get it right.
but I'm just not sure how many tens or hundreds of millions of people need
That's
to die to get it right.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's a great
Come
policy
on.
though. Like that baseline power, that's my I really like that one. It's just like fundamentally that's what's the problem. What's happening in New Zealand right now? We've got all these pulp mills, timber yards getting closed down because of the cost of power. So why don't we take control back? It's something like what you said, like your grandfather, my grandfather, or great grandfather. That we built all this infrastructure. We've already paid for it.
Yeah.
So why are we letting this happen when we have? I think out of them four over the last 12 months, they were forecasted to make $1.5 billion. You've got CEOs on millions of dollars, which is fine. It's good to make profit, but you have to question it when we have businesses closing and we got Kiwi homes, families, which I've got family members are picking between paying the power bill and after paying food. That's not the Kiwi dream. That's not why our grandparents and great-grandparents built this infrastructure, for us to be prosperous, to get sold out by shiny-ass corporates. They built it for us to be prosperous, not to pick between heating our homes and then paying for food.
Absolutely.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
And there's another context here which lifts us up a bit. Show me a country that has high power and energy prices and is prosperous. Show me one. How did we build our wealth to become one of the most wealthy countries in the world? We had cheap energy. So what are we doing here?
It's crazy.
We own this stuff.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So if we could get to that position where we can have cheap wholesale power, everything opens up. And there'll be people all over the world will want to come here because it's renewable energy.
Yeah. We should be able to achieve it in a country our size, like you say.
Absolutely.
And we have
resources.
the infrastructure there. It's an avoidance of wanting to pay that upfront cost of restarting those things, but then also bringing the skill level back.
Yeah.
There's people who need jobs. There's people who want jobs. And we just need to take that. We need to pick our heart effectively. We can't keep importing solutions. Can't keep spending money on foreign coal and letting gentailers run amok around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just crazy, just importing foreign
And
coal.
there was part of what they call the Bradford reforms in the 90s, that whole splitting up there and, creating it's like a pretend market where this is what we did. We had this kind of hybrid market thing going on. Well,
I like that conversation around like the reflection on Norway, David, and that's potentially where we could actually head. When you look at what the party has talked about around that policy and investing $1 billion on doing survey to see what we actually got. Like I said before to everyone, I'm a construction worker. Before we even look at a tender, you actually look at the geo reports. The client goes get to the geo reports. Why wouldn't we do that here to work out what resources we have in here? Yeah. I think, and you're the money guy, you're the numbers man. How much do we send overseas for energy? Is it $6 billion or $7 billion per year on fossil fuels?
From fossil fuel?
Yeah, we buy.
Unreal.
Is it 6 or 7 billion?
And then let's count the opportunity cost of not having a refinery.
Yeah, so when we send that overseas, why don't we just invest here, do the survey, work out what we've got? It just makes sense. And just
Let me tell you a story about the refinery.
I want to hear this.
There was a big
Is this
argument.
Marsden Point?
Yeah. Marsden Point, there was a big debate in Parliament, and Megan Woods was saying, I'm sorry, but the refinery could not refine the oil that we extract from New Zealand. And she's right. She's partially right. You know the reason? It's because ours was more pure.
Yeah. It's real clean oil, isn't it?
I'm serious.
Oh
I'm
my
serious. So,
dude.
there was a big project at the refinery called the Te Mahi Hou project, and it happened between 2016 and 2018, just prior to when Megan decided to shut everything down, right? That project was a $300 million US project, and it was focused on this thing they call a hydrocracker. Basically, that's the nuts and bolts inside a refining process. And as one of the local contractors said to me, we can take mud from Asia and turn it into jet fuel with that thing.
That's unreal.
How cool.
That's what we were locked into.
And we shut it down.
We shut it down. So we could refine pretty much anything. And so she was partially right. The companies that did that project were all Northland companies.
Wow.
Incredible. Eh?
$300 million project, huge engineering project. Unbelievable. 4 of them came together, plus other subbies. Nailed it on budget before time. So when she says this in Parliament, I'm sitting there going, and then I couldn't help myself. Do you think for 1 minute, we couldn't take that expertise and use our own oil?
Of course we can.
You know, this is just nuts. So you're absolutely on the money.
It's
It's just left us with this legacy now that we're reliant on having to buy fuel from overseas. I've also heard the other day that the bitumen we produced out of that facility was top notch.
It was
stuff we're
bitumen.
importing now, not so great. I don't know if you've seen many bottles lately. And the list goes on here. Our vulnerability to diesel is sky high.
Yeah.
This is what I love about our party. It's like as soon as we could see this looming, Shane got on the phone and rang up Singapore, South Korea, Japan. Hey, mates, if we're looking like we might be running out of diesel, can you help out? All of whom said yes, and all of whom have refineries.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you're right from an industry point of view. The bitumen that came out of Marsden Point was high quality, and the stuff we're importing now, the industry has concerns about that.
Yeah.
But it's one of these legacies that the legacy media won't talk about.
No.
And it's hurt us. I'll just go back to from tendering and costs from a private enterprise and stuff. Our costs have skyrocketed through this crisis of not having a refinery here. The taxpayers' projects have gone up because of this. And we actually need to have a real conversation. And this is why I always find around politics entering this is for some reason the left gets away without being accountable for the actions. But all of a sudden, if you say something on the centre or the right, you're a criminal or you're racist or you're xenophobic or homophobic. And this one here around the refinery, that needs to be highlighted more because that's increased costs to every single New Zealander, every single taxpayer, and to our government departments from a local, from a regional, from a central point of view to delivering projects.
Nothing's
And
isolated.
nothing. This country's run on diesel.
Yeah.
Of course.
Everything we
People
do
don't
is
realise.
run on diesel.
Yeah.
Everything we're doing, like when the tractor is working, diesel.
The food you eat.
The grader,
Yeah.
the grader is building the roads, the diggers,
Yeah.
the four-wheel drive. Nissan, is that diesel?
Yeah.
Everything, the whole economy is running around fossil fuels, and we need to have
I'll give you another example. Denmark, 6 million people, right? Not many more than us. What's the shipping company they own? Maersk. They own it.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, the state owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Well, it's a Danish company.
Yeah. Oh, right.
That's huge. And what do they use these big container ships to drive them around the world on? Diesel.
Yeah.
I was going to say wind farms, but
Yeah, wind farms. And look, if you tried to put batteries in these babies, good luck with that.
you get a container ship in 10 years' time.
Well, it's these
It's just unreal.
it's these luxury beliefs that you build wealth, you build prosperity, and then someone I'd suggest on the left comes in and says, "Oh, can we just build? Let's just focus on solar. Let's focus on wind." And it's like, hey, don't forget the fact that the country, as you say, runs on diesel. We take on these luxury beliefs that are, now that we have the wealth, we just sit back and take our foot off the pedal. and start doing fun things, and then things get really bad, and we think, oh, we probably should have the Marsden Point, and we should probably.
As for me, I just think we should, if we've got a wealth there already, we should be doubling down
Yeah.
and creating more wealth. On that Norway fund, I think I heard you talk about this before, David, don't they add the total amount of New Zealand's GDP every year back to that?
Yeah, it's
Close
not
to,
every year, but
close.
if you do the numbers quickly on $3.6 trillion at 10%, that's like 360 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but where we're going with that is we need to, like, this is one of the things I from my critical mind I don't understand is why are we so happy, or why are people who sit on the centre left or the far left so happy to bring in resources from overseas with poor environmental conditions, really poor environmental conditions, poor labour conditions, when we have the resource here where we can build a prosperous country, we can employ people at good salaries, and we have really, really good environmental conditions, and we have great labour conditions.
Exactly.
So we're ticking all the boxes.
Because we don't want to see it happen in front of us.
Yeah.
We just want the end result.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It's not in that backyardism. And like, for example, if we have to burn coal, why don't we use the coal here? So when we import coal from Indonesia, that still has a carbon footprint, bringing it on over ship. So just bring it, use it here.
You know why?
Because
because our coal is a higher value and higher purity. It used, it's in demand.
Yeah, it's in demand.
Overseas.
Yeah.
So we buy the dirty stuff.
Yeah.
But
That's a lot of our stuff that we produce. We send our best overseas and we keep the rubbish for ourselves, even when it comes to dairy and beef and sheep and all
Oh,
sorts.
let's not go there.
Yeah. But I just find it really, from that critical mind point of view, is like, why are we doing this? Why are we, the left getting airtime from legacy media thinking these are good policies? They're not good policies. Like, we can't let import resources from developing countries in them poor conditions. We can do it really, really good here, and we can give people good jobs, and we can lower our carbon footprint, and we can be environmental friendly if we all do this here.
Yeah, can we just talk gas for a second?
Please,
Because there's a lot going on right now. Green keep attacking the right for wanting an LNG import
Terminal.
facility,
That's
right? And they say we've got no more gas. Actually, we do have gas, and we'll prove it. But funny story, I was in Wairua, and I was with the council there, and a fantastic council, brilliant kuia on that council, alongside Craig Little, old white guy, but he's just he's so good. We had this big conversation about all the things that are going there. Right at the end, Craig says, and you know we've got gas here, eh? And I went, what? He said, yeah, no, we can take you up the back there. They've capped it. The pipes are in the ground, and it leaks gas if you take the cap off.
Wow.
And we're like, okay. So we will find gas. We'll find oil. But why is gas so important? Gas fires up Methanex, which turns it into methanol, which turns it into fertilizer. We're a young country geologically, so we don't actually have some elements in our soils.
Right.
Nitrogen's one of them, selenium's another one. Okay, so we need fertilizer.
Yes, we do.
Are we just going to stop down our food production? Stop down, close down Methanex with not supplying gas? Are you serious? It's our biggest import. We feed 40 million people around the world. Who are you kidding?
Yeah.
And the other interesting side of this is that Maersk, who we were talking about earlier, are experimenting with methanol instead of diesel.
Oh, really?
Wow.
So think about that for a second. So if you believe, well, we can talk about climate change, when it's going to happen, how long it's going to go. But if we're looking at a transition, there's a transition opportunity right there, because it's less harmful than just extracting.
We have this conceptualization, I think, in New Zealand, because we're so far away and we're so small as a country, that because we're small and far away, that our economy will just be kind of middle ground, medium.
Yeah.
But you look at countries like Japan, the UK, Singapore. Singapore's just smaller than Taupo, is it?
Yeah.
Like
Landmass-wise,
South Korea, these tiny countries. We are not only resource rich, but we have incredible institutions. We have strong, resilient democracy. Infrastructure. Like, we have everything. And we could be huge.
When people dream about the ideal country or utopia, for lack of a better term, New Zealand could be that. We have the right culture, we've got the right infrastructure, we've got the right mindset, but we're just being held back.
We can be the lucky country.
100%.
Yeah, we
Do
are
you
in a
think
sense.
it could be, or we have been in the past?
Well, I'd say we have been. Yeah,
And that's the problem
absolutely.
we have. Like, we've had this generation prior to us who built this awesome country,
Worked hard.
work hard, all this amazing infrastructure, broke the back of New Zealand's nature and built all this cool stuff, and we've just mismanaged it.
And
we just
without
gotta have
destroying
that-
everything as well.
And that's what like I really like New Zealand First is because, and the people in New Zealand First is because it's that belief.
Yeah,
Because you can't actually achieve a goal if you don't have a belief.
exactly.
And there's that hope for tomorrow, and that's what we're going to bring is that belief and hope for tomorrow. Because we
Yeah.
had a great country, so
Yeah.
it's not the utopia that we could be. We had it.
Well, there's
we
a
can
vision,
bring it
right?
back.
If you have a vision and you can get people on board with that vision, not just pointing at who's taking from you or why you're not successful because this person's successful, but if you have a genuine vision, like you say, or people can't something for people who do believe in. And this is principle that I was talking to this guy the other day. He talked about he does a lot of church consultancy, and the big thing he talks about is vision and alignment. And this is verse from the Bible. It talks about writing down the vision, making it clear so that the people can run with it. And I think the clearer you can be on your vision, the more articulate and the more specific, we can move at pace.
Yep.
And I just don't see anyone outside of New Zealand First putting that down anywhere, making that tangible, making that even comprehensible, that I could understand that. What I see is like, I don't want to fall into the whole, I'm not with the top party, so I'm not going to talk about tribalism or, divisive politics, but, people who are blaming everyone else as opposed to what you guys have been talking about a lot, which is look at our opportunity.
Yeah, it is. It is that belief. And you look at the other parties, it's not belief. It's like they're all stuck in this grievance blame game, and we're in a bad country. We're in a racist country. We're in a xenophobic country. We're in decline.
Yeah.
We're not. We just got to start believing in ourselves. I had a conversation at work. It was around safety. And I had my team in there. It was like 30 people. I was like, can we stand over there if we believe that every incident can be prevented? It was only me sitting down one end and everyone else is down that end. It's like, it's a goal.
Yeah.
So you can't achieve goals without actually believing that.
It's
And
a
I think-
direction.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's a direction. So you're right. We have to actually start believing. And that's what I like about Winston and the party and people like David is we actually have a belief.
Yeah.
Instead of going like, oh, here's a handout, why don't we just build these conditions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Believe in
that-
ourselves again.
Sorry, mate. The other side of that is we actually are the party that gets the most achieved against our manifesto in Parliament every time.
Interesting.
I actually got
We're the
list
one
here.
that wins. So we actually do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Provincial Growth Fund, $3 billion fund. I'm going back to the regions now where people have had the benefit of that investment and they're all saying, please, please, please bring the Provincial Growth Fund back because look at what has happened as a result of that investment. It's just everywhere. The Regional Infrastructure Fund, all about adaptation and preventing floods and, giving us resilience for our environment and for our businesses. I've been to businesses that were underwater by 2 meters because the banks burst and they weren't maintained properly, that sort of thing. So been doing real things. So back to your vision thing. Sometimes the likes of the Greens have a vision as well. I've got a different version of the vision one. Yes, alignment.
Yeah.
But there's a kind of a corporate saying that goes something like this: vision without action is a hallucination.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And there's a lot of hallucination going on.
Is that? Do you think that that's?
I like that one.
Is that
I like that
induced?
I'm going to start using that at
external?
work.
Yeah. Induced externally.
Yeah, is that something that's maybe a naturally occurring hallucination, or have they taken some substances with it? We can't be sure.
Oh, isn't democracy good though when you got parties like that? Eh?
No, and I was gonna say this before because you're like, why did the left get to do all this and that? And it's like, well, if the truth is they get to do that because of democracy. And the context of ideas should ultimately be where people win and fail, and a meritocracy where we can live and die based on our ideas and our values. But yeah, it can be frustrating when you have to listen to, like I brought up with the select committees. You got to listen
I
to all
agree.
these
They
people.
should be able to say what they want. It was more from the past they get from legacy media. I find quite interesting.
Do you know what's funny though? And every now and then my algorithm dips me into left wing. It just shows me what's happening there. And the left wingers would say that the media is biased right leaning. And I saw it. I was looking at this guy's Twitter feed the other day, and he's like, another puff piece about Winston Peters, another puff. I'm like, I've never seen this. I've never seen it from this perspective. So everyone thinks they're hard done by when it comes to legacy media. They got no fans.
Although I've got some proof.
Well, that's the thing.
So, look, just take the difference between when New Zealand First was out of Parliament after we lost to the Jacinda Mania, and we were about 2.6%, how we were actively discouraged and barred from being involved in democratic situations and debates leading up to the last election.
Really?
Now compare that to Top.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
The media darling.
Yeah,
Everyone.
the multimedia party.
It's an interesting one, David?
it's
Like
crazy.
in team, like because you look at, I think it was, can't remember if it was you guys before or someone else. That, you look at the top social media pages, and they get bugger all reactions and comments. So
No one cares.
Their views will be quite small. So, but you go to legacy media, they're everywhere. So there's
I mention every day.
So where I'm going with that, their base, their core, their following is actually not there. It's just it's artificially manufactured by legacy media. So, and David's right. Like I remember through the conference, people talking through that no one from the media would actually turn up to any Winston's talk speeches, apart from when they hit around 5%, and then all of a sudden,
Important. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
you
listen
guys
to
are
it.
important.
Which is why the media have been so on into this the whole time. And oh, look, there's really close to 5%
Yeah.
with our
without help.
survey.
But also with free media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, did you see the poll of polls comes out and said, Top's looking good? And I saw Damien Grant commented, he said, how does the poll of polls put them at 5% when no poll individually put them at 5%? How does it cumulatively 4 and below equal 5 now?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't make sense.
1 plus
It's a
1
narrative.
equals 4.
Yeah.
Narrative.
Just on that vision. Sorry to go back. I'd be really interested to hear. Obviously, New Zealand First has come back into government and been part of a coalition government that's achieved a lot, and that vision's obviously been there. It's not like the vision's just created in the last week. How would you say that that vision's been implemented in this past 3 years in this coalition government in a way that would not otherwise have been, or what the things that this coalition government's achieved that otherwise would not have been if you guys were not in there?
Yeah. So first thing I'll say is there's 8 of us
Small group.
That's
out of
crazy.
67
Yeah.
on our side.
That's an outsized impact.
Right. So when we vote, national vote 48, we vote 8. Act 11. So it's like that's pretty significant. To say we punch above our weight is ridiculous. We're way above that. You look at what Winston has achieved internationally for us in foreign affairs. I remember the debate around the war in Israel and the Palestinians.
That speech he gave was incredible.
It was. But I saw the lead up to it. The criticism that came from the left calling our party genocidalists and all sorts of other racist terms. And this just went on and on and on. So until they were wearing their tea towels in Parliament screaming at us. And Winston just stood there and took it all and said, we will listen to what the rest of the world says and we'll listen to our allies and we'll make up our own mind. But it's genocidalist and all this kind of stuff. So everything's going on and on and on. And then he made that speech at the end. Well, this is our position. This is the position we're taking as a country. And it was silence. Absolute silence. And then it all just went away for about 2 weeks until they found something else to criticise.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
that's
I've
true.
never seen anything like it. It's like he's a master, right? He is a statesman. We don't have another one. He's it,
Well,
right? So good luck trying to find that. And that's just the beginning. You get on to everything else that we've achieved in wool, for example, in agriculture, what Mark's done there, through the Regional Infrastructure Fund, the amount of jobs we've got through Fast Track, we've actually enabled things to happen, like an exploration, like 100 million, is it 100 million going into the exploration of supercritical geothermal energy? I don't even know if you know what that means, but let's just say it's a real engineering feat if we pull it off. Basically means we're drilling way deeper and the outcome is way higher. So we found that money. We made it happen. Now we're looking at hydrogen in Southland. Now we're looking at exploration for oil and gas. These things will set us up forever if we pull this stuff off. That's crazy. A lot of the fast track stuff, which was our policy, fast track developments that mean the most for us in New Zealand and our public, get it through the bureaucracy and get it through the system quickly, please, because this is of ultimate national importance. That's what fast track is. And yes, it's still been sticky, but
Pretty good still.
there's a
Moving
huge
fast.
number of solar projects in there, of wind projects in there that have been fast tracked.
Even the recent oil announcement.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So the impact has just been massive, and we can go through in every area there, sticking up for democracy.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say,
That's a pretty powerful one.
well, one of our key work streams is around foreign interference. We drafted a bill called the Foreign Influence Transparency Bill. It should actually be in the members' tin by next week. We've got a member of National who's looking to put it forward, but we don't see anyone, even the IPAC members, making as bold a stand or statement against China as what Winston does. And I remember we were talking to some MPs once, and they got in trouble with the embassy earlier in the year. I don't know if you remember, with the Taiwanese Independence Dinner. And they, I said, well, you know, how do you feel about that? And they said the first person we went to was Winston, and they weren't NZ First MPs. And it was, for us, it was huge because we're like, you have a problem in Parliament?
Go to the
Winston's
big dog.
the guy.
Yeah.
You go talk to Winston.
Didn't you have an issue there?
Yeah, I was
Are you
one
on
of the
4-year ban?
MPs.
Yes, one of the-
Did you get a 4-year ban?
1 year.
1 year ban. 1 year ban.
As
So,
an honorary badge. Yeah.
so for us, we when we launched Pillar, that was one of the key issues we wanted to address, which was the NZSIS is talking about it, ASIO is talking about it, IPAC all around sort of our Western nations are talking about it. Winston is the only leader.
Yeah.
There's been other, like the Laura McClure Shaw and the Joe Moonies and yourself who have gone out and done things, but Winston is the only leader that has
Party
come out
leader.
and
So let me make it clear about that. You will notice that I did not make statements through that.
well, you went to
period.
the event, didn't you?
I went to Taiwan.
You went to Taiwan, yeah.
Yeah, and I was one of the ones that got banned.
Yeah.
But that is an international foreign affairs issue.
Yeah.
Not my place to be up there making foreign policy on behalf of New Zealand because of that incident. We have a guy who's the Minister of Foreign Affairs
Pretty good.
with 50 years experience. I think that's the guy to actually handle this issue. It's just like, are you serious? So yeah, a lot of people wanted to make look, I was getting phone calls from New York and
Wow.
CNN, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just
Wow.
went nuts.
It was a global story because it was,
Yeah.
and because of the way that it was done as well, with the letter trying to be sent sort of quietly, and effectively intimidate you guys, we couldn't believe it. And then watching what the Chinese ambassador is consistently doing, saying, tweeting, posting, writing letters to the parliamentary services, I said, send him home. Like, let's send him back because he is inflaming. And he says, well, we don't want to interfere in other people's democracy. You absolutely are. You can't deny it. And all of our intelligence services know it, and they've said it, and we've published booklets about it for local government and central government. So it's an issue that we care deeply about. Because we've seen the effects of individuals, Chinese Kiwis, who come here for a better life to live in democracy, who can't escape the thumb of communism because they have agents all around the place, just litigating, being litigious, doing things to them, and threatening their families back home. So it's cool to see that, obviously, New Zealand First, Winston, and yourself are happy to be vocal about that issue in the right environments. I think it's appropriate that the Minister of Foreign Affairs handles it. And I think since he's been the Minister of Foreign Affairs, we haven't had better international relationships in recent memory. Like, you look at when Mahuta was in charge, we were a joke, we were globally a joke. Winston comes in, we're respected again.
So Winston often uses this, that he's been in front of foreign officials and foreign dignitaries more time than the whole of Te Pāti Māori have been in Parliament.
I've heard that one before.
They've been in the CCP parliamentary buildings as much as they've been in our parliamentary buildings, doing their haka on the Great Wall and that.
Days. Holy.
Are you excited for Billy's haka when he gets sworn in?
Yeah.
I'm going to do haka.
Are you going to do one?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
I
I
am
do Australian
excited
haka
about
and
that.
trying to find my wallet for the shout.
This is going to be cool. Pull out Shane.
Yeah.
He'd probably do a better haka than me.
Yeah, no, he'll receive you. That'll be.
Oh, that'll
Yeah,
be beautiful.
I could get the wife
That'll be
to
amazing.
call me on to the parliament. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
The thing that
The
I
left
love
will hate
is things. Some people watch what's happening in Parliament and it's very angsty and it's stressful. New Zealand First seems to move with a real sense of confidence, but also there's always a smile. There's always a sense of, like, you guys are jokes. Well, we know what's going on, and you see it in Winston and us. You see it through the party that there's a quiet confidence, and I think it's perspective. I think you guys understand what's really important, what are the current hot topics, and what you should actually lose sleep over. And it's been
I'll give
cool
you
to
an
watch.
example of what you're talking about. You might have seen an article in the paper the other day that Timothy Paul called English a bastard language.
Yes. Did say that.
And then called us all snowflakes. Well,
Was that in English?
yes.
Whoa.
Anyway,
And aside from that,
yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
That's not what she said.
Oh.
She called the English language a bastard language, and she called all of you guys
Yeah.
that are pushing this through are bastards.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
at one level, I could take offence there because I'm adopted, but
Yeah.
so we're illegitimate or
Yeah,
something. But, so that's factually incorrect. But you get the implication. And then the media reported as snowflakes, calling us snowflakes. Are you serious? I was there. I saw it. We had this discussion about the English language. They said, we don't need this. This is useless and all that stuff. What's the point? Well, I'll tell you what the point is. The point is that in law, we actually need to understand the law. And currently, New Zealand law is written in English.
That's right.
Yes, you can translate to te reo if you wish. That's great. If other people can have access and get a better understanding, it's written in te reo or sign language. Those are now our three. That's all great. But I hate to tell you this, but English is the trade and commercial language of the world.
Yes, it is. It is.
So far ahead of any other language. So, yes, it's an amalgam of all sorts of different,
Say three languages
Anglo-Saxon,
mixed up,
the Angles, the Norse, French, it's all there. Yes, but those are the facts. So,
I am so English is my second language, and I'm honestly so grateful that I speak English because whenever I travel, I go overseas here, I go over there, you're in an airport, I can talk to anyone, I can talk about anything I want.
Yeah.
And I don't think many English speakers realize how incredible it is to speak an international language. Like my dad, he's in Iran, and he often tells me, he's like, the fact that you speak English is the greatest investment that you could make in your life ever. Like you can talk to anyone about anything, about business, and I don't think we realize how awesome it is.
your English is really good, Arian.
You're very kind.
Yeah.
What's your first language?
Farsi. I'm from Iran originally.
Oh, wow.
So my English is now a little better than my Farsi because I've been here so long. But
Yeah.
I was listening to your podcast the other day. So is there a Farsi word for human rights?
oh, no. There is.
He doesn't
No,
know.
I'm only joking.
Yeah,
I was
no,
listening to the podcast on the way up here. It was interesting.
I should have figured it out.
The funny lesson was
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
We met an Iranian lady at university. She asked what we do in Farsi, and Ari tried to explain to her.
And I just paused and I was
There's no word for human rights.
like, there is a word. I just forgot.
No, I only took
Yeah,
it when
yeah,
you
yeah.
said
Got to
it.
remember what it is.
Yeah.
Put two words together, you'll be fine.
Well, I just even with the English language becoming official, it's just like fundamental too, though, David. Like promises made, promises kept as well.
Yeah.
And people ask me, what's the point of that? Well, actually, you can look at multiple points. The one I look at is they made a promise at election time. Now they follow through with it, and that's a fundamental one too. Like if you're going to make a promise, we've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about this, you should only be able to vote if you're a citizen.
I'm a huge fan of that.
I didn't realise how
Quickly.
deeply flawed we are. There's like 5 countries that are some of the worst in the world in terms of allowing people to vote. Recently arrived or whatever.
It's like a year in New Zealand at the moment.
Yeah, we're one of the worst out of that 5.
It might be
Never knew that.
Yeah, just after 12 months, isn't it?
Yeah,
Crazy.
It's crazy.
It's interesting because through work I bring in highly skilled immigrants, like engineers.
No problem.
Yeah, I don't bring in pizza makers. But Uber drivers.
What about yoga teachers?
But I was talking to a few of them, and they were like asking me outside of work their thoughts that they were giving me feedback on that, and they really like it.
Yeah.
Like they want to earn skin in the game, and they're like, well, that's all cool. I'm just going to get a citizenship,
Yeah.
and
Because it
because that's
makes
that's what they want.
Yes.
They want to be Kiwis,
Yeah.
and people who are coming here for the right reasons.
They're coming here for a reason.
For a reason, and if they have an issue with it, we actually need to step back and go, why do you have an issue coming to citizen?
Yeah.
What's the issue? Like you come in here for a better life, but the majority of people that I know who work for me or I know personally through relationships and stuff like that, they're all for it
Yeah.
because they want to be Kiwis.
Well, you want to
Yeah.
know that your system works. It's like in the States with the voter ID issue. And even here now we have to register 2 weeks ahead. But in the States, all these liberals being like, well, black people don't have IDs, or they don't know how to use the internet. They don't know
terrible,
where the VV, their VTNZ is.
What a
And
terrible
then,
discriminatory thing
Yeah,
to say.
yeah.
well, then the interview goes to Harlem, one of the most popular. Like, yeah, he's like, "Do you have an ID?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course."
Do you know what the internet is?
do you know how to use the internet? I've got my phone right here. And you've spoken about this to us
Oh,
before.
the white liberals.
Well, just this the imposing of very racist, but because they think it's nice racism, it's like
It's
white
so-
savior complex.
It's still the liberal approach. Like I was saying to these guys before, I did a what do you call it, a Twitter or X post around why the Greens policy of not mining here was ridiculous and hypocrisy, like we just talked about. And then a white liberal popped up and said, "This guy hates himself. He hates himself because he's Māori."
Whoa.
This is one of the funda reasons. Another reason, like for my grandson, I want to be in Parliament to push back on that liberal sort of thought process that all Māori think the same.
Yeah.
And we can't think for ourselves because Māori don't just sit on the right. They don't just sit in the centre. They don't just sit on the left. We have a political spectrum is vast.
Yeah.
And I don't need someone to tell me that I'm not Māori because I have a different political view. But that is the real racism that Māori are actually facing today, is where liberals who are on the left think they can tell Māori how to think and what to think. And if they disagree with that, they hate themselves or they're racist.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And for me, I just find it quite radical view. Like I'm all about my culture. My wife has a beautiful moko kawaii. My kids go to kura kaupapa. I don't speak Māori because, because I don't. And the reason why I don't do it is because I don't want to. Because I have to go out and get a job and provide for my family. But what I've done, what a father should do, what a husband should do, is create conditions where his family can actually break generational cycles. And that's what I chose to do. I chose to get up early in the morning and to go do these things so my family can do this. But that is the real racism that Māori are facing today, is that liberal racism, like we just talked about, around people think, I just find it crazy, I just find it really weird that people on the left think they can get away with racism in that space. And that's the real racism that we're really, really facing the Māori right now. Really. That racism and that grievance, that victim mindset, that we are permanently victims of colonisation, and Pākehā or non-Māori are permanently colonisers or perpetrators.
I don't know if you've heard this term, but some might say you're the brown face of white supremacy.
Yeah.
And what a badge of honor. What a badge. I've heard it. Someone called me a Nazi. I remember when I first started in the NGO space, we wanted to host this event. I was with the Free Speech Union, and someone said, this Nathan Sayuli guy's a Nazi. There's a lot of Germans in Samoa, actually. But, I was like, well, I wouldn't be the first Samoan Nazi potentially, but when I showed up on Waiheke to host the event, he took one look at me and he took his car and he left. But these people, they're social justice warriors, these white saviors. People under the law in a Western democratic nation should be equal, regardless of
100%.
ancestry, regardless of when and where you're born. You should be able to rise and fall on your merits. And that's why all these people who don't understand equity and equality, like even in my own family dynamic, my sister and I have vastly different views on this. The difference is she's gone to university, I didn't go to university. And you can sort of see those things play out in real time.
Like it's ingrained in me, to my father. Like he worked his ass off to provide for us, and for me to have an equal opportunity like every other Kiwi. And we have that. We have that. 2026, I can do whatever I want. The only thing that's holding me back is myself. And that's why I push back on that grievance and victim mindset, because I don't believe that our horizons should be pushed in or closed through this victim mindset of we need to be on Māori seats. That limits us. We need to have Māori board in Auckland to think for us that is unelected. I don't like these unelected Māori boards in local and regional and in central government, because I'm smart enough and to work out how democracy works. I have a vote. I'll use that vote. I don't need you to vote for me, and my people are better than that.
There's something underneath this. A lot of socialists actually want to undermine democracy, and it's insidious. Now, a lot of our friends on the left are what you might call globalists. In other words, why do we actually need national borders? borders. Doesn't that create division? So can't people just get on and, we can go wherever we like, which is one of the reasons we don't have a standard of citizenship for voting here, because let's just think about it for a minute. Those people that are coming here and voting, and they're newly arrived immigrants, who are their friends? And why do we need lots and lots of them to vote?
Yeah.
There's something underlying
Yeah.
that, and the reason is it's votes for the left.
Yeah.
This citizenship means something. To become a citizen of New Zealand means something.
I agree.
I know when I go to the US or I go to France or I go anywhere else in the world, Italy, I'm in their place. And I respect their history and their understanding of how it is to behave in their country. And I've been in situations where you're like, ooh, okay, they don't quite like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I just kind of need to conform with this. The thing is, that's their culture
Yeah.
and their standard of citizenship. There's no reason why we can't have the same, regardless of whether you're Māori or
I agree.
Pākehā.
Oh, it's not a race
agree.
thing.
Agree.
Not at all race thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Farsi, you're speaking Farsi. That's fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, and I was part of the generation where Māori was not allowed to be spoken in, in school and that sort of thing. And so, and the one of my best friends from primary school, Tani Mahi, if you're out there, brother, come and see me. He was one of my best mates, but I was actively discouraged to be his best mate. So I grew up in that stuff, and it was nuts. Then we had influx of Pacific Islanders, and they were the latest lot to be, if you like, cast out as the newbies, and we're going to test you lot to see whether or not you deserve to be here and all that kind of stuff. They were also Dutch. They were also English. They were, it's like every new immigrant group has trouble,
It's a
integrating
global
into
story, though.
society. Yeah, it's
look
a
at New York.
worldwide story.
You look at the history of New York, and it's the Irish, and then it's the
Yeah.
Italians, and then
Yeah.
there's so many stories like that. It's,
Yeah, exactly. It goes on and on and on. But the thing is, for me, and Billy's experience is really instructive for me as well, is that the renaissance of Māori culture is linked to the te reo. Great. Don't let the reo die.
Agree.
Keep it alive.
Amen. Yeah.
And which is why why our leader actually has stood up for kapahaka, why he's ceded the funding for that, why he ceded the funding for Māori wardens, why, I can go on and on. He had the first land march. He led it and won it for his people. Who are you kidding here?
Yeah.
When all these people say, what have you done for Māori? Oh, well, let's just talk about the hundreds of millions of dollars that we did through the Provincial Growth Fund to sort out Marae, right? The centre of the hub of culture in the regions. Come on.
Yeah.
That speech Winston
It's not
did,
what it's about.
did in West Auckland.
Yeah.
My wife came along and she was still sitting on the fence on who she wanted to vote for. And she's really big on Matatini. She goes to Matatini, and real big on the haka. And she didn't even know that Winston ceded the haka.
Yeah.
And she went back and she was Googling it and she's like, oh, he's right.
Yeah.
It's like now she's joined up New Zealand First. But
Yeah.
it's quite interesting that a lot of people don't know that story and how much they've done for Māoridom.
Yeah.
And
They still do.
Andrew Vance has
And they
written
still
about
do.
it.
And, but there's the thing is like the policies that I've noticed, David, is like they just are policies that are for Kiwis too. And
Yep.
Māori are just
Yep.
part of
Yes,
that
that's right.
Kiwi family.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Get
not
on
like
with it.
they're getting special treatment because they're Māori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because they're part of the New Zealand family and we need
Yeah.
to look after the New Zealand family. And it goes back to that no citizen, no vote. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote. Is people need to earn the Kiwi dream too. You can't just come over and start voting. Like this Kiwi dream is for Kiwis.
Yeah.
You have to earn that skin in the game. That's my point of view on that. And I think this is how naive I am in politics. I didn't actually know that was a thing till like the policy was announced, and I was researching. I just assumed
Yes,
that was the policy.
Yeah.
I just assumed that was law already.
Common
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It's common sense. You,
Yeah.
Any
I was
reasonable
just thinking
person
to
would assume.
myself,
You know?
going,
Yeah.
well, that doesn't seem, and it is like just after 12 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Arian's an immigrant, first generation. My dad was an immigrant from Samoa, so he would have come in the mid 80s. But I look at my dad, and he worked to become a Kiwi. He took every advantage available to him. I look at Arian, he came here as an 8-year-old, and has made a fantastic go of life thus far. We're not sure how
So
he'll
far,
finish
let's see how it
up,
goes. Yeah,
but he's got a long way to go.
see finish well. That's
Some cracks starting to emerge.
Looking
but-
good, dude.
Well, mum's second generation Kiwi, so she's Polish.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And she is Kiwi through and through. She doesn't like getting called Parker or anything like that. She's a Kiwi.
Yeah.
And that's why I always talk about Kiwis, because that's what her father and my grandfather and great grandfather ingrained into her, that we want to be Kiwis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Kiwi dream.
There you go.
I think we sort of said this at the beginning. New Zealand First is really nailing that idea of patriotism, what it means to be a Kiwi, betting on our future, investing in New Zealand. As we approach the election, I think we're 98 days out. I see a few things. I see working class really getting behind New Zealand First. I see quite a young group of Kiwis, especially young males,
That's interesting.
emerging
yeah,
in
yeah.
support. What message? Both of you. I'd like to hear both of you. What message do you have to them? We've taken a lot of your time. We'll probably close with this, but what message do you have to those people who might be on the fence, to those people who are supporting you? What do you have to say to them in this election lead up to sort of get them there?
You go. You're right.
Okay. No, I honestly believe that we need to rebuild the economy and this country from the ground up. And it's a huge, huge opportunity as well as challenge. And it's in the centre, it's in the core, you've probably heard today, of this party. We absolutely understand that we need to build growth and wealth. We need to rebuild for the benefit of anybody and everybody who wishes to join us with that. And to youth, I got a special message to youth, even though I don't look very young. What you're hearing, all the doom and gloom that you're surrounded by online, and you're being told by climate catastrophists, for example, a lot of it is not true. And there's a lot of obfuscation, and that's kind of skirting around the real truth. Let me tell you something that I've learned the hard way. If someone is peddling fear, they're trying to sell you something. And that's at the moment votes. So you just watch who's peddling fear, and then think to yourself, who's peddling opportunity, growth, nationalism, patriotism, being part of this country, being a citizen of this country, joining with us for the future of the country. This is the party, and that's why I'm with it. When I was called up to come to Parliament, I asked my wife and my son and my daughter, should I do this? Do we, you know what we're going into, right? There's criticism everywhere. You've got to have a thick skin. And without exception, they all said exactly the same, which surprised me. But they actually said the same thing in different, at different times. They said, you've got to go. That's it. You've got to go. That's a service ethic. I see that everywhere through the party. What Billy's displayed today, he doesn't need to do this. He's here because of his country. We're here to save and grow the country and turn it around. And I tell you what, we can. We know how to do this. My whole last 30 years has been involved in economic development. That means working with people on the ground, iwi, hapu, government, private investors, making sure it all comes together for the betterment of that community and that region and then the nation. We know how to do this stuff. Others don't. They just learned a political ideology at a university and turned up and told us all we're all going to die because of climate change. No, you're not. You're not going to die because of climate change. I can prove it with facts. Even IPCC have got that all mixed up and wrong. Their projections are wrong and they're pulling the projections back. Yeah, there's a whole lot of reasons for that. Al Gore said we're all going to be underwater,
We're
50
dead
feet
right now.
underwater,
Yeah,
right? Right now. Well,
Supposed
I'm
to be
still
dead.
waiting. When's that
But
happening?
if you give all the power to the government, they'll save us.
Exactly.
Unreal,
That's
eh?
the fair and the vote thing.
That's it.
It makes a lot of sense, actually. I'm on board with that. No,
Sorry, I
that's-
got
that's-
on my high
No,
horse.
fantastic.
That's wonderful.
He should have been the
Here,
closer.
here. Yeah.
He should have been the closer.
Hard to follow that.
That's really
but,
hard to follow that.
No,
You
I
can
bel-
follow
I
that,
believe that
Billy,
you've
I
got something.
see.
Mine is simple. Like, the time is now for young men, especially out there.
Yeah.
And I speak to a lot of young men. You're sick and tired of telling that you're sick and tired that you're a racist, xenophobic, or homophobic, or transphobic because you have a different view on the left. the party for you to vote for is New Zealand First, because we're all equal. And if for the conservative Māori out there, and you get sick or tired, you can tell them that of this grievance and victim mindset, you got to party vote New Zealand First. We're a social conservative, and that is our tikanga. So you need to come to New Zealand First. And also for me, I just want to be more productive. I want our nation to be more productive. I want us to be prosperous. I want us to have good jobs. I want to bring back Kiwis who are living in the UK, in Australia, to come back here. They are the people I want to come back here, and I want to build a prosperous nation. And that's why I'm with New Zealand First. I want cheaper power for my family. I want cheaper power for my community. I want cheaper food. And I want to mine and explore for oil and gas, and that's what we need to do. We need to be more prosperous. If we do all these things, we can afford the fundamentals: good schooling, good healthcare, good policing, and good armed force as well. And that's about it.
Well, there we
And
go.
if you're a blue-collar Kiwi, instead of getting taxed all the time, come and vote New Zealand First.
Good man.
Sounds pretty appealing to me.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm going to lock you into that.
yeah. No, I want to commend both of you. Just you're doing a fantastic job, and like I said, David, at the start, we really appreciated your encouragement in those early days for us. And having a platform as a very small organisation to be able to come and make select committee submissions, and even for you to come and have a chat with us today is very humbling, and we're really honoured to host both of you. So thanks for lining it up, and thanks for being open to the invitation. I've learned a lot in this conversation, especially around power, energy, independence, sovereignty, and that sovereign fund that they've got up there. So no, I enjoyed it. Arian's usually our closer, so you can see what he does. Sometimes he does all right. Sometimes
He's a good
Forgets his
You can do
English
it in English?
sometimes.
You gonna do it
I can
fast?
do it in English. I'll do it in English this
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
nice. But no, thanks everyone for
yeah.
listening, and make sure you look up more of New Zealand First policies. If you have any questions, go and comment on Billy's post. He responds to all comments. And if you want his number, just text me and I'll send it to you.
We'll dox him. Yeah.
we'll make sure we'll post his address and his phone number. It'd be great.
Incredible. Well, thank you guys again so much. I know you're both incredibly busy and you have so much to do, but you've given us your time and you've given our viewers your time. And that's what democracy is about. It's about speaking and the contest of ideas. And we have lots of listeners, particularly young listeners. And I just hope that this has been encouraging for them, and that there's a sense of hope and vision for them. Success, as you've heard from everyone today, is not guaranteed. Prosperity is not guaranteed. Democracy is not guaranteed. These are all gifts that we've inherited, and that we need to live them out with responsibility and vision. And so as we head into election, we're about 98 days right now. As we're recording this, it will be probably 95 or so days until election. Do your research if you're listening and figure out who you want to vote for. And I hope this podcast helps in some way in giving you some perspective. But vote. Make sure you vote, because if you don't vote, you might as well not have the right, as many people in the world don't. So we hope this has been helpful. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Stay in touch. Stay in tune. We'll see you soon.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Wonderful.
Thanks, everyone.